Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing really well. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. I do a lot of study, career and personal finance related videos here on my channel. So if that's something of interest to you, then please do subscribe to my channel down below and be sure to follow me on my Instagram as well as successbysanjna. Now, as you can tell by the title of today's video, I wanted to talk through what I've been spending in the last week. I've done a few videos on my channel like this before. I think the last one was maybe in November, so I do want to do an updated one. The one in November was in my last apartment and a lot has changed since then as well. So I've got a few new expenses that I wanted to go through, and let me know if you guys would like to see a reoccurring sort of series of this as to what I spend in a week or maybe even a month or anything at all. Just let me know in the comments below. So let's get started. So I'm going to talk you through the week commencing the 12th of April till Sunday. So that whole entire week, I'm going to talk through some of my expenses that I incurred during that week. Obviously, some of these expenses are incurred monthly, but I'm just going to break it down into weekly amounts just so you know what the weekly sort of spend looks like for someone that is living out of home, living by themselves in an apartment in Sydney. I just wanted to be as transparent as possible and be as realistic as possible as to what the expenses are actually like in a country like Australia, specifically in Sydney. So let's get started. So let's start off with Monday. I'm going to be looking down at my screen a fair bit just because obviously I can't remember these numbers off the top of my head. So starting off with the Monday. So we're going to go Monday to Sunday. Now, Monday is generally the same as all other weeks because I like paying for any sort of outstanding payments I need to be made. Direct debits usually come out on a Monday as well for me. So I've just calculated all of my fixed sort of costs on a Monday, and that's what we're going to go through. So for Monday, I've got firstly my rent. Now my rent has definitely increased since the last time I've mentioned it. The last apartment I was living in with a roommate, so the rent was actually quite cheap for me. But now that I'm living by myself, it has gone up a little bit, but I don't mind. I mean, look, if you can actually afford it and you enjoy the space, I don't see why you don't take up that opportunity, especially given that I feel quite comfortable in that I've been able to achieve all of my financial goals this year and last year. So when I moved out of my last apartment, I was like, I'm just going to spoil myself and treat myself because I feel like I deserve it. I've been working really hard for the last couple of years and I wanted to live in an apartment that had a lot of facilities. Now, I will have an apartment tour coming up, but that won't be on this channel. That would actually be on my other channel, which is more of a lifestyle and fashion channel. So if you do want to see the room tour or the apartment tour, then be sure to follow that channel. It's just by Sanjna. I'll leave it in the description box below as well. Now back to the rent. So the rent for this new apartment, just because I've got a lot of facilities, things like a swimming pool, I've got a sauna, a gym, we've got like a rooftop entertainment area, we've got a library, we've got like a residence lounge as well, a lot of little things here and there. We've got a cinema. Did I mention a cinema? Theater room, a games room, a piano or music room, a lot of different sort of amenities in this building. So obviously the rent would have to be high as well. Now the rent for this place is obviously a lot cheaper than what it's actually meant to be, just because I actually got a really good deal, just because the owner did actually live in this apartment themselves. They needed someone to come in quick and take over the lease, so that just worked out really perfectly for my timing, so I took advantage of that. And the weekly rent that I need to pay is $500, which is definitely below the market rate. So all thanks to COVID, even though it's not the greatest of things, it really worked out for me because the owner had to flee, and because of COVID, I got this rent for cheaper. So that's the rent for the week, $500. Now let's move on to utilities. Now the utilities in this apartment, I actually pay on a monthly basis. So I've just obviously divided it for the week. So the weekly utilities comes up to $15. So that comprises of your gas and electricity, which is a little bit higher than the last place that I did live at, but I'm not going to complain. I love this apartment. It feels like home to me, and yeah, I'm not going to complain. Moving on to the water bill. Now I know in the last apartment that I lived in, I mentioned I had a water bill. Now this apartment, I don't actually have a water bill. It's funny because water bills are sometimes paid by the landlord and sometimes not. So it just depends on the landlord and what their sort of preference is. So thankfully I don't need to pay for the water bill in this apartment. So that's always awesome. So water bill, $0, nothing to pay for the water bill. Now, also on this day, my phone bill just happened to come out as well. So my phone bill, as you guys remember, or if you don't remember, I purchased the iPhone, and I purchased it on a plan because I wanted to get the brand new iPhone 12, and on the plan it was $89 a month. And yes, I'm still paying $89 a month, and that's because I actually didn't have Wi-Fi at home. I opted in to purchase this iPhone because I wanted to cut down on my home Wi-Fi, and I was getting like, I think 200 gigs on this iPhone anyway. So I was like, I don't really need any more internet. So I stuck with the $89 per month, but it's now almost been 6 or 7 months since I've gotten the iPhone, and I'm just struggling with the whole, turning on hotspot, the hotspot disconnecting, and always having to manually enter in my password for things. And that really just became really frustrating for me. So I've now switched back to Wi-Fi, which Wi-Fi is costing me about $80 a month. So what I'm going to do, and if we break that down, that's $20 a week for Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pay out the break fee for my phone and go on a SIM only plan, which I can find for about $30 or $40 a month. So what that means is I ended up getting the iPhone that I wanted, obviously paying for that higher amount. But if I now opt in for a SIM only plan, by even paying the break fee, it still works out cheaper for me in the long run than sticking to that idea and not having home Wi-Fi and being like really on and off with the Wi-Fi. So yeah, it works out cheaper for me, and I don't mind, and I'm gonna do it. So yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because it just works out cheaper for me to pay the break fee because I do need the internet and I need fast internet as well. That is Monday. Now let's move on to Tuesday. So Tuesday is the day where I do all of my groceries. I don't like going on the weekend just because it is so hard to navigate in the shopping center and to find parking. There's so many people, and I just don't like the whole sort of vibe. It's just too claustrophobic for me and too many people around and about. I prefer doing my shopping during the week when people are actually at work, and that really just works better for me. So I do my groceries, and what I recently changed up is doing my groceries via click and collect. So basically what that is that you pre-order your groceries online and you order them the night before, and you can pick them up at the grocery shop, and they would already have it like pre-packaged for you and in bags as well. And I feel like that just works a lot better for me. I don't like spending too much time at the shops because I feel like it's a waste of time and I'd rather be doing something else. So I do click and collect now, and it's free of charge. There's nothing, there's no charges or costs associated with it. I'd rather save my time doing other things. So I do click and collect, and my weekly grocery expense is about $60 for one person. So yeah. Now also on Tuesday, I went to get a massage. I like getting a remedial massage every once a month, and it just happened to fall in this week. So I'm going to include it in this video, obviously. So that massage is $80, but I don't actually have to pay $80. I have to pay $55 because I've got health insurance. So I love getting a massage once a month because I just feel like if you're sitting down all day, you get a lot of knots in your back, you get very sort of tight, and your muscles just need some sort of relieving. So I like getting a massage done. It just works wonders for me, and I really enjoy the entire process. So I get a massage done, and yeah, that ended up costing me $55. Now moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday was a bit of an interesting day. As you guys know, I'm in the process of launching, wow, that was very loud. But as you guys know, I'm in the process of launching my website, and with a website, not sure if you know, there are a lot of costs associated with it. So I had to pay a lot of, ad hoc additional programs that I needed for my website, and that ended up costing me $150 that week. So yeah, very expensive. Obviously this is a once-off cost and it had to be done. It's not something that's going to be reoccurring, but yeah, I just had to obviously include it in this video because that's when I made the payment. So $150 on my website building and all of that good stuff, which you will actually see very, very soon. I think it's coming up in my next video, guys. So stay tuned because I'm very excited to share that with you. You'll finally see the entire project come to life. Now, also on Wednesday, my health insurance comes out as well. So my health insurance is about $150 a month, which is very expensive, I know. But yeah, you got to have health insurance. You just never know what's going to, pop up one day. You just never know. So I always like to be safe. And my health insurance costs me $37 a week. and I obviously had to pay this. It definitely hurts my pocket, my bank, but it's got to be done. Now also on Wednesday night, I had mad cravings for some chocolate. I usually don't have these cravings, but I was just like, for some reason, craving chocolate. So what I decided to do was I went to Woolies and I picked up a packet of pods, just because, guys, like I was craving it with my green tea and it was such a cold night. I actually ended up leaving the apartment, walking to the nearest Woolies shop and picking myself up a packet of pods, because like, oh my god, like you just don't understand, my cravings were at like next level and it was the best decision of my life. So yeah, Wednesday night was a fun night because I was watching The Serpent. If you guys haven't seen that show, oh my god, I highly recommend it. I am literally obsessed. I finished the series, by the way, but literally obsessed. Like, definitely recommend watching it. It's just so good. It is like a bit of a murder mystery thriller sort of thing. So yeah, watch it if you haven't seen it. But yeah, the reason that I needed the pods was obviously I was watching that and I just wanted to be cozy with my green tea, so I had to get pods. Anyways, let's move on to Thursday. So Thursday is a late night shopping here in Sydney, or even in Australia, I believe. And I obviously took advantage of some of the sales that were going around. I went to Uniqlo, I went to Zara, and obviously for Zara, I need some clothes that I want to showcase on my other channel. So I go to Zara very often because I love their stuff and I like trying out new pieces and sharing it with you guys on my fashion channel. So I went to Zara and I spent about $140, which is not bad. I mean, Zara is, quite expensive as well, depending on, what you think. But yeah, $140 spent at Zara, and then I spent another $60 at Uniqlo, purchasing some nice woolen jackets for winter, because in Sydney we are sort of heading into the winter months. It's getting very cold, and if you're wondering, yes, it's the opposite to the northern hemisphere, because we are in the southern hemisphere. It's the opposite. So yeah, I ended up doing some shopping and doing some damage. That is my Thursday. Now moving on to Friday. Friday is always a fun day for me. I like just, ending the week on a positive note. I like making some plans on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays and really just enjoying my time, because I feel like I never used to really go out that much. I always used to be a homebody, even though I still am. I do like enjoying myself and really just treating myself, because I feel like I've been working really hard and I need to obviously, relax for a little bit as well. And my friends tell me that all the time. So my friends and I organized an escape room. Now the escape room was about $45, but we did have our sort of dine and discover vouchers, which is what New South Wales has received from the government. Obviously, because of COVID, a lot of businesses had to, shut down and they were impacted. And for that reason, the government has given everyone $100 to spend on, either dining in or discovering new things in Sydney. So I took advantage of those vouchers and I went to an escape room with my friends. So that only ended up costing me about $15 with those vouchers, which was amazing. A great night, and it was very cheaply done as well. Now, obviously before the escape room, we had to have dinner and drinks. So we went to our local restaurant here, which is so amazing. I love it. The food is amazing. Drinks are amazing. And I ended up spending about $43 on dinner and drinks. And yeah, that was my Friday night. Super fun. And then everyone just came back to mine and we chilled, and it was the best night ever because we played games. I love playing games. I love playing Mafia. I love playing, Taboo, charades. It's just always so much fun with the right friend group. So yeah, then taking us to Saturday. So yesterday I again took advantage of the dine-in vouchers and I went to a restaurant, spending about $15. It wasn't actually a restaurant, it was just like a takeaway sort of joint. But yeah, ended up having some Mexican food and that was $15. But that was my Saturday. Pretty chill yesterday, honestly, and I didn't really get up to much. But let's move on to Sunday. So Sunday this morning I actually went to IKEA. I wanted to pick up a mat for my table, my study table, just so that it doesn't get dirty, because obviously being a white study table, you guys would have seen this in my other vlogs, it's a white study table and I don't like it getting dirty, so I do want it to have some sort of protective layer over the top. So that's what I picked up from IKEA, and that was for $15. Now, I don't think I'm going to make any more purchases tonight, and we're not going to include that in case I do, because then this weekly spending is going to sort of throw me off and throw all of you guys off as well. Let's calculate how much I've spent in this week. I know it's going to be more than any other weeks that I've spent, but you know what, guys? It's totally fine. It is what it is. I don't go out all the time. I'm not creating websites all the time. And my massages fell in this week as well. And it happens. Now, for the time that you've all been waiting for, let's calculate my weekly spend. Now, for this week, drum roll, I've spent $1,149 this week. And of course, this is not going to be the case all the time. I obviously went out more this week. And that is it, guys. That's everything that I've been spending this week. Obviously, it fluctuates from week to week and time to time. But that's just a breakdown, a very sort of generic breakdown of what you can expect to be paying in Sydney in case you are looking to move here in terms of, rent, groceries, utilities, phone bills, water bills, etc. I hope you guys found this helpful, and do let me know what other personal finance videos you would like to see here on my channel. But guys, other than that, I will leave it here and I will chat with you guys in my next video. Thanks, guys.